Hi Pisces, this is the Mystic Kitten. My name is Michelle. I'm going to do a read today to cover the last little bit of February moving into March 2020. Please like, subscribe, and share the videos. That way the messages can get it to whoever they were intended to get to a little bit easier. Helps the channel reach more people. My Facebook is Mystic Kitten. That's the page. If you're interested in a private reading, please, you can find me there and we can discuss further on how you'd like to do that. So I'm showing my face today because I had a request to do so. I don't do fluffy readings. I allow the cards to tell me whatever message it is that needs to come through. Sometimes it's love, sometimes it's career, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's hardships, sometimes it's a little bit of everything. It just depends on what the cards want to say. So when you're giving a harsh reading, apparently it's easier to take if you can see the facial expressions and the mannerisms of the person who's reading the cards. So I was asked to kindly show myself and do the reading this way. So going forward, that will be how I do the readings. So without further ado, let's see what the universe has to say to you, Pisces. One more shuffle. And what do we have for Pisces? February 2020 moving into March 2020. All right, let's see. So the overall energy, or the underlying energy that we have today is the woodward. So it seems to me that you're trying to work on grounding yourself and becoming a little bit more decisive in your decisions. So when you make your mind up for something, rather than being a typical Pisces who wants everybody's input all the time, because you want to make sure you're not hurting anybody, right? What you've decided to do is kind of make your decision, choose what you want to do, and then just do it, which is fantastic. It's really important that when it comes, especially matters of the heart, that you are able to make a very decisive decision, because it's not just your life that it impacts. With that being said, you don't always need all your friends and family weighing in, because what works for them, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? So your recent past energy is the spark of life and reunion. So I feel like somebody's come back, or you're wanting to come back. So you're starting to spark things up with somebody that is from your past. Now, this doesn't have to be somebody that you had an emotional, not an emotional, but physical connection with before. That's not what this is saying. That I feel like you're sparking something. So you're taking a relationship that was a friendship, or, maybe even just somebody you met through a friend, and they showed up on your Facebook or your Insta, or they liked a tweet, or something happened and you were like, hey, wait a second. I remember you. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm going to like your picture and I'm going to see what happens. And it's caused some sort of little reunion to start. Your current energy is a struggle and the journey. So I think that you planted the seed, you sat back, and you thought, okay, this is no big deal. They're going to get a hold of me. And then they didn't. And you struggled with the idea of planting another seed because you don't want to feel desperate, right? Nobody wants to be the one that's reaching out all the time, because then you feel like, oh, okay, I look desperate and needy, and nobody wants to be desperate and needy. However, it's going to be a journey to get there. So I feel like you're going to have to be, if this connection is something that you feel passionate about, you feel drawn to it, you feel like it's something you need to experience, you're going to have to be the chaser. This person is not going to chase you. I'm getting a strong fire sign out of this. Fire signs do not chase. Fire signs want to be adored. Fire signs want to feel chased. They want to see how far you'll go. How much do you like me? I know you say you like me, but how much? Believe me, once you catch a fire sign, be careful not to get burnt, because the passion will be hot, let me tell you. Because in your future energy, you have creativity and celebration. So to me, that tells me that you're gonna have to get creative, right? Like, it's not going to be just a like. That's not going to get their attention. You need to be a little bit more creative. You need to figure out a way to get their attention. If you know that they're, like, if they follow you on Snapchat, all of a sudden this Friday night you're going out and you're going out looking fine. You're going to have to catch their attention, but you're going to have to do it in a very creative cat and mouse type of way. Okay. But you're going to get them. If that's truly what you want and you don't mind being the chaser, I feel like it's easy. It's an easy catch. They just want to be caught. Because once you catch them, your possible outcome is attraction and the horse. So once you catch them, it's going to heat up real fast. And when it does, it is going to move quick. This is a relationship that's going to go from 0 to 100 in months. It's not going to take a year. It's not going to take weeks. We're talking, you're going to start getting together, and then all of a sudden, you're together every night. You're doing things together every weekend. It's going to be fast moving. It's not going to take time. The time is going to be put in at the beginning. But once that spark has ignited, oh, it's going to move fast. It's going to turn your head. But that's a fire sign. That's how fire signs work. And what do you get when you mix fire and water? A whole lot of steam. All right, let's get some oracle cards for you. I say some. I mean one. But the universe has been throwing 3 or more lately, so we'll see what they give you. Told you. Anything else? Anything else for Pisces? All right. So we have the hungry ghost, obsession, curiosity, and attachment. We have the altar priestess, preparation, prayer, sacred ritual, preparation. Prepare yourself. It's gonna spin your head. Whiplash is what I'm hearing. The web weaver, synchronicities, divine intelligence, cause and effect. So this could be a karmic pull. The reason you got that, why did I forget about you? It could be that when you met the first time, you didn't feel that pull because it wasn't time yet. The two of you weren't at that place yet. Divine stepped in and went, not yet. The High Lord of gratitude and service, selflessness, humanity, cautious attention. So this tells me that moving into this relationship, if that's the choice you make, if that's the direction you go, you are going to want to remember yourself. Take care of yourself. If you need to step back, step back. If you need a day to be like, tell them that. Because a relationship that flows this fast can be all consuming. And that can be breathtaking for some people. And so I'm getting the feeling that you may need that chance to step back. If you're a yoga goer, look, I go to yoga on Sunday mornings. I'm sorry. We can't do brunch, but I'll meet you for dinner. Make sure you allow yourself enough time and space to not get too wrapped up in this, because it can be breathtaking when you fall in love like this and fast. And lastly, we're going to get a native spirit card. All right, what do we have to say? Wow, Pisces, these cards have got a lot to talk about, don't they? Grandfather Sky. This tells me that you have your sights set very high. You have very high expectations, and that's fine. But understand, just because you hold yourself up to those expectations doesn't mean everybody else does. And that also doesn't mean that everybody else can live up to those expectations. If you have an expectation of somebody, make sure they know it. Make sure they know it. Sacred Mountain. This could be for the long haul. The Sacred Mountain speaks to foundations and reliability and the connection to like earth and stability. Spirit Keeper of the East. This is my summer card. So make sure that if this hasn't happened yet, if you truly want this to work, by the summer, make sure you've made this happen. Because Spirit Keeper of the West came up, and I get the strong feeling that if you haven't been able to catch this person's attention by like late spring, early summer, they'll be gone. And Song of the Wild. So I feel like there is something that's calling you to this. I believe that it's like an undescribable need to get to know them, to be close to them, to interact with them, which is fine, but you may have other things coming which is why Divine has kind of almost seemingly put a timeline on it. Not that if you're with them, it's only going to last to the fall. But I feel like you've kind of only got that time frame to solidify this, because I'm getting the sense, I'm going to pull a couple cards. I'm getting the sense that there are very big things coming. Very big things coming for you, Pisces. Like, by this time next year, your life could look completely different. And if you haven't found if you haven't developed a strong foundation with this new person, by the time this whirlwind starts, they won't be able to keep up. They just won't. Sorry, my cat has found bags. They're her favorite thing in the world. What's this Spirit Keeper of the West about? So you got generosity as a clarifier for the Spirit Keeper of the West, and you got the Mirror. So on their own, I say typically for me, generosity, this means like volunteer work and giving back. And the Mirror is usually a very reflective. You look back, you start to rearrange your thought patterns. You start to have a little bit of clarity on things that have happened in the past, or you're able to let go of things that you have been very reflective of over the last little while. Sometimes I call it the rabbit hole card, because it's the one where you're sitting there and out of nowhere you start thinking about, 3 X's ago, and you're like, oh, what would have happened if? Which is nowhere to live, by the way. However, we all do it from time to time. Now, but when I see these 2 cards together like this, what this tells me is that you are going to start being more generous with your time, and you will have healed. You're going to work through and heal any of these things. Because in a traditional deck, this is emotional fulfillment. And this is regret. They cancel each other out. So if you have this relationship solidified by the fall, they cancel each other out. And you get to start this new happy thing. All right? Again, like and subscribe and share the videos so that they can reach who they need to reach. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear if it resonated, if it didn't resonate. If it doesn't resonate, please always, you can check your other sun, moon, rising, and Venus signs. And those signs can also provide a little bit more clarity if this didn't give you what you were looking for. And if you want to dig deeper into this, hit me up on Facebook and we can always look it up in a private reading. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful last little bit of February and a great beginning to March 2020. And blessed be, Pisces.